Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to those of you around the world. Welcome to the daily Trade the Chain crypto update, where we give you everything you need to know for the next 24 hours and hopefully the next few days. Today is Thursday, April 27th, and we just got GDP numbers in this morning, which was a bit of a shock to the downside. Expected 2%, got 1.1%. And the fascinating part about this is equities are up on the day, quite a good bit. So let's go ahead and unpackage what's going on and see if we can't make sense of it. Remember, we do still have PCE tomorrow, which is the all-important personal consumer expenditures data point, which is very much the Fed's preferred inflation metric. And of course, we know core is the Fed's preferred inflation metric. Core is PCE minus food and energy costs. So we are expecting a downturn on core and PCE overall, but we'll have to see if that comes to fruition tomorrow. I will say anytime we pump into data points, it definitely worries me. But when we are experiencing green candles, we certainly do want to take advantage of it. So let's look at DXY, which actually had a spike on the GDP news this morning, but is very much sold off that spike. So we're still just sitting, hovering below the February low and the April low that we've talked about. We obviously had that swing failure pattern earlier this week. And we are still holding the 101.2 level. So I'm expecting tomorrow's PCE number is really going to move DXY in one way or the other. And if PCE is a beat, meaning it comes in lower than expected, I'm expecting DXY to move lower. If PCE is a miss, meaning it comes in higher than expected, I'm expecting DXY to move higher. So right now we're still just ranging, no real inference to make from this. But if we do get a wonky print tomorrow, this will go haywire and it will definitely affect the rest of markets. So looking at equities, this is very interesting in my opinion. I would not have expected such a boost, but it could be because many people were shorting at the weekly VWAP, and this could just be a short squeeze because of the general bearish sentiment due to obviously the GDP numbers. So I don't really have a good answer for you guys, unfortunately, but the moral of the story here from a trading perspective is obviously if you can stay above the 4110 level, then you've definitely got the gusto to get back to the top of the range and maybe start to target these highs up here around 4160, 4170. Of course, if PCE is a beat tomorrow, then seeing 4170 or 4160 is definitely very likely. So, and if PC is a miss, then seeing these lows is also very likely. So for right now, I would not just be longing indiscriminately at 4120. What I would likely wait for is a retap of either the 4111, 4110 supports, or at the very least, the 1 hour estimated 200 moving average. It's very rare that equities just zoom up without any sort of return back to supports. So, seeing this, definitely happy and euphoric and excited for this type of price action. But what I would do right now, if I'm looking at new trade setups, is just be patient. And I think, if we can hold the 4110 level, then you have a great precipice to move higher. And obviously, if we lose this level and lose the 41 or lose the 1 hour estimated 200 moving average, then you're going to drop back to probably meet the weekly VWAP or just get back into this range right here, which has a high at the 4090 level. So 4110 is support. And then if that fails, then we will be at 4090. So for right now, again, definitely do not feel like longing into this, after this big boost is the way to go. Look how oversold the hourly is. And typically anytime we do see that, we will end up returning back to value. You could certainly make a few scalps happen, but again, if you're just throwing trades at the board, it's probably not the best idea. And obviously you want to have the safest, most opportune trade, which in my opinion would be if we return back to support. And then if we lose support, then you short it. If we hold support, you long it. So looking at Bitcoin, this volatility yesterday was quite insane. This drop right here was allegedly due to some sort of Arkham intelligence alert that was related to Mt. Gox and U.S. government wallet selling. Apparently, the dip happened just before that alert actually went out. It could have been exacerbated by the alert, obviously, but we don't have that full information or knowledge. So what ended up happening, and just from like a pure learning standpoint here, his price obviously moved higher, early Tuesday and into Wednesday, and then completely sold off. But what actually happened is we swept the low, and this is just really good for just basic market structure if you're trading. So we swept this low, and then we recovered the low, or we recovered from the low, and we got back above the support level of 28K. So upon that, that's when you enter a long, and obviously getting then above the VWAP and above the estimated 200 moving average is another bullish boost for any price action. So we swept the lows, we reclaimed support, we reclaimed the VWAP and 1 hour estimated 200 moving average. So therefore, that's your long, and obviously, long up until you're in. Typically, if you're longing from this target, it's back up to the top of this range. So if you sold, at this candle, fantastic trade, and then obviously we just have been ranging for the past 12 hours. And now we are finally getting above the range. So what we told the Trade the Chain community this morning was, the range is, we're stuck in the range until we're out of the range. So if we get above 28.3, we need to hold it, else we're coming back here. And that actually played out very quickly. We got up to 28.3, then we sold back to 28.8. We held 28.8. We did not break 28.8. So therefore, another good long opportunity. And now we are above 28.3. Now we've not held 28.3. So for me to enter along here, what I'd like to see is a candle back down here. We hold the 29.3 level, and then I long here and move higher, because we still have not breached this high that we got rejected from. So therefore, that is still resistance for this move, and I don't want to long until we break above that resistance and reclaim up in here. So for me, what I want to see is reclaim 29.3, move higher. And then if we lose 29.3, then you just short back into the range, targeting these lows, which, eventually could coincide with both the VWAP and the 1 hour estimated 200 moving average as they continue to move higher. So no trade for me right now. This is still a very tight range, but, this is the classic Dalai Lama pattern. Move up, sweep the lows, move higher, consolidate, and then move higher. We've seen this pattern 1,000,001 times in crypto. Today is no different, but the moral of the story is you need to get above this range for it to actually be considered bullish. Until you're above this range, then, you're just taking scalps where you want to get, above up here, close up here, or long here, close up here. And of course, if we fail, then we're back down into this range, short right here, target right here, and then see if you get another long setup or obviously short setup. So that's the moral. That's what I'm looking at for Bitcoin right now. But I will say, just based on preliminary outlook, this is a very positive pattern for Bitcoin. And as long as we hold 28.3 and of course get above 30K, I definitely think that 30.5K is in the cards, but it's not going to go straight up. I think it's more likely to do something like this as opposed to just straight up. So be patient, be careful, time your trades with opportunity, not because you're just seeing green candles. Looking at ETH, a little bit simpler than Bitcoin, still generally the same formation, but I think a little bit more simple from a trading perspective, given where the range was. So yesterday we dropped, very similar to Bitcoin, swept the lows. We had a much better sweep of the lows, but the moral of the story, of course, is you swept the lows, you reclaimed this 1845 support level. We bounced off that, got above the VWAP, held the VWAP, zoomed higher. Then we just obviously consolidated within the range. So let me go ahead and I guess we'll keep this here. So earlier we were just hovering right around the VWAP. I said if we can get above the 1 hour estimated 200 moving average, then you can start targeting 1940. We're very close to 1940, but have not tagged it yet. Get above 1940. Obviously, that's your precipice to move higher, but you still have this range to contend with to break up. So it's not an auto long if you just break 1940. You need to reclaim 1940. That is the magic word, reclaim, confirm. That's what you need to do. And then if you fail, obviously, to get above 1940, then you're going to short, and your first target would be the 1 hour estimated 200 moving average. Second target would be the VWAP, And then third target would be 1845, maybe down here to these lows. But, you know, if Bitcoin's moving higher and equities are moving higher, then Ethereum likely is. But again, resistance, you know, there's no reason to start longing here when your resistance is right here. You'd rather just see how we react to resistance for a short or for a reclaim to then move higher, because, you know, your signal this morning was obviously this wick right here and then held the VWAP. And then obviously we moved higher for a couple percentage points. Let's see what this move was off the VWAP. So that's a 2% trade just for a couple hours worth of work. So, you know, right now things do look more bullish than not. And I would be shocked if we just immediately started getting sold off from here. But, you know, I think it'll really depend on what equities want to do from this level, as Bitcoin and Ethereum are certainly chugging higher into these ranges that they were previously in. But we do not know if they can reclaim resistance and move higher, because, you know, we've not tested those levels. And this is where you would close your long if you were already in a scalp right here. You would look for shorts at this level. And of course, if you reclaim this level, then you start looking for longs. So no clear signal right now. But again, you know, if you're not in the Trade the Chain community and you're not getting the daily research emails that we have up, here we go. Now I'm seeing 28.5, 28.6. Yeah, okay. I'm sorry. I was looking at like an LTF chart on the left side of my screen, which made it look like we just went up $1,000 and we only went up $100. So we are moving higher, and you know, live action trading right here. So we're digging into this area right now. Let's see how we react. ETH is inching higher towards 1940. So let's see how we react. And if we get a short setup, it'll obviously be, you know, a nice swing failure pattern rejection down. And if we get a long setup, it'll be because we consolidate up here a little bit, chop, and then move higher. So good luck, happy trading. And again, all of the juicy trade calls and information go in the Trade the Chain community and to our members research email. So you would have caught these early morning trades if you would have read our research and information. And of course, we will update the Trade the Chain community later on in the day, right? You know, typically around the daily close or whatever interesting price action is going on towards the end of the US session. So definitely, if you're in the Trade the Chain community, expect an update in regard to this very interesting and weird price action tonight. But again, if you do not want to trade, or you think this is sketchy, or you think that the market is doing a fake out higher because, you know, we're going to get some bad news tomorrow, the news that you need to be aware of is PCE that will come out at 8:30 a.m. Eastern and will likely bring some serious volatility with it. We typically see a lot of volatility right around the prints, but when the market opens is when momentum will be decided. So, you know, if you want to trade whatever you expect, if we're at 4.5% or lower for core, prices will likely move higher. If we are at 4.6% or higher for core, prices will likely move lower. So stay safe out there. Good luck trading, and see everybody in the TTC community.